My guest today is a former proponent of the death penalty. A few years ago, Jerry Vaughn changed his view about the death penalty, and he now believes it should be abolished. I'd like for you to now welcome Jerry Vaughn of Phoenix, Arizona. So tell us about your original position on the death penalty and how this came about.
Well, for years, as a conservative, I've always been for the death penalty. I thought certain crimes were just so heinous or reprehensible that some people deserve to forfeit their life. And that's the view I've had until recently.
So you understood both sides of the issue beforehand, and now tell me about what led to your change of heart.
Well, I've always understood the other side. People that said, well, we shouldn't take a life, or depending on some of the research, says it actually costs more to put somebody to death than it does to keep them in prison for their whole life with the appeals process. And other people would say, well, it's not a deterrent, which I think the jury is also out on that. So I understood that side of it, and I still had felt there was just a justification for the death penalty.
Tell us about what is Milarepa.
Milarepa is a person who lived in China in about 1050 AD. As a young man, his aunt and uncle after his father died, his aunt and uncle had stolen all his wealth and his family was destitute. So in revenge, he started a fire that is in a hotel that his uncle had owned, and 35 people ended up dying in that.
How does Milarepa apply to this situation?
As a wizard, he had learned some black magic, and instead of being captured and punished for it, he ended up escaping. He traveled quite a ways away from the town that this had happened in, found a Swami who agreed to mentor him, and he spent 12 years in a cave learning how to become enlightened. He repented for all that he had done, and over time became one of the most revered saints in Tibetan Buddhism. So for that reason, I brought him up as an example of why you might not kill somebody.
Because he repented and became a new person.
Mm-hmm.
Is he an aberration to the norm?
He might seem like it. Most people you would expect on death row might be vicious criminals, but you never know what it might take for someone to change their attitude. So even if he is a norm, I think everybody should have that chance to rehabilitate themselves in some way.
What do you say to people who believe that criminals have forfeited their right to live?
I don't believe that that's something we necessarily should make. Now, I'm not advocating that we call them or give them television or special privileges, computers. You can still put them in isolation, put them in, give them an hour a day to walk out in the yard. But I wouldn't give them any special privileges. I'm not condoning coddling criminals.
Do you believe that the death penalty is hurting our society?
I do, but not in the terms that most people think. One of my reasons for being against it is what it does to the person that's doing the execution, for one. We have, as a Christian society, we know we're not supposed to kill people. I think killing prisoners is strictly to avenge something that's happened. Somebody has done something horrific, we're mad, we want somebody to pay for it. And if this is the person that did it, we want them to pay. I think that is one of the major motivations for people that support the death penalty. It's more of a revenge factor.
How does a society determine what is a suitable punishment for, let's say, mass murders?
Well, it's difficult to decide what's suitable. This is a very black and white issue for most people. I don't think very many people change from pro-death or pro-death penalty to anti-death penalty and back, I haven't seen very many people. I was really surprised when it happened to myself. And it was for a rather unusual reason. I believe that everybody's soul is here to grow. And for the person committing the execution, what does that do to that person's soul? You're not supposed to kill somebody. I mean, I understand self-defense, you can kill somebody, to protect someone or to protect another person. But that's not what the death penalty is. We're killing somebody that's already locked up and put away. They're not a danger to society. And I think it affects the person that either gives the injection or flips the switch or presses the button that drops the chemicals. And also, like Milarepa, there's a possibility that this person will rehabilitate themselves. Personally, I believe in reincarnation. And if we kill somebody that has not fixed their soul, so to speak, won't they come back the same person they were when we killed them? If they have an opportunity to rehabilitate themselves, it's possible they can come back as a better person. So those are my reasons.
So you're concerned about the soul of the criminal and the soul of the community that is punishing them.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate you coming on today to our show and sharing your views, and we hope that you have enlightened our
Thank you very much for having me.